Welcome back to my channel. We are now a month removed from the CrossFit Games, and this is usually a really calm time in the sport. A lot of the athletes are taking some much needed rest time, getting ready for the next season by taking time off, not training as hard, so we just don't see as much going on. This year though, it feels like there's more going on than ever before. And I think part of the reason is this Down Under CrossFit Championship. Now they existed prior to COVID, but they took some time off. I'm assuming they probably couldn't have had the event in Australia because of COVID regulations. Now it seems like they're coming back full force, and they want to come back in a way that everyone is going to pay attention, and they're doing a good job of that. I've already sort of talked about this a little bit with tia-clair announcing that she's going to be there, but that was just the beginning. So if you take a look at their Instagram page, we start out with athletes that you might sort of expect to see at this type of event, right? We see Jay Crouch, he's an Australian athlete. Con Porter, another Australia athlete, although he was living in Iceland, does appear, at least for some time, he's going to be back in Australia. Don't know what that means for CrossFit Reykjavik long term, but at least for a little while he's going back home, which, I mean, it does make sense. Again, this is the off season where a lot of the athletes take time off, go back home, go on vacations, do those kind of things. So not shocked to see that, but maybe he wants to get back into individual. I think he's hinted at that a little bit. Then Royce Dunn, another Australian athlete. Maddie Sturt, a great athlete who we haven't seen a lot at the games because there's just so few positions for women coming out of Oceania. We haven't seen her recently. She has competed before, but another great athlete. She's going to be there, Australian though, so no surprises there. Then Tia pops up. She is Australian, but has been living in the US for quite a few years, so that was a surprise. I did do another video of that. I'll link it up here for you to check that out, or up here, somewhere up here. Then after Tia, they announced Don Fowle. He is the new CrossFit CEO. So while he may not be a name that a lot of us are super familiar with at this point, I think we're all becoming more familiar with him, and it really does show that he's trying to get out in the community and meet as many people as possible. And that's a really big get for the Down Under CrossFit Championship, to get the CEO of CrossFit, who I believe lives in the Bay Area, to travel all the way to Australia for this event. That's significant, and it just makes me wonder what Down Under is doing to convince all these people to come. And it doesn't stop there, right? Because now we have Brooke Wells. She is competing on a team with Tia and Ellie Turner at the competition. That's another huge name that's going to bring in so many people, so many eyes on this competition. And again, doesn't stop there. After that, Lauren Fisher announces she's going to be there in the weirdest way. She doesn't even know what division she's competing in, it sounds like.
I'm gonna be in Australia this November to compete in the Down Under Championship. What I'm doing, not really sure yet.
But she's going to be competing in some capacity. So that's interesting. And it says a lot about she wants to be there even not knowing what she's doing there. This is going to be a huge competition that they're able to get people and convince people to make that trip. I mean, that is a long, long trip. And there was an interesting comment on the Lauren Fisher post. It says, here's hoping she's bringing Annie Thorsdottir and Katrin Davidsdottir to take on Brooke Wells, Ellie Turner, and tia-clair. That would be awesome and incredible to see. I don't think that's going to happen. I'll let you know why I don't think that's specifically going to happen. But it's not for what Lauren Fisher told us, because it sounds like she doesn't know what's happening, which, again, interesting, and a lot of reason to be paying attention to this competition right now and come November when it's going to be happening. Then Saxon Panchik is announced, who did fantastic in the Open, fantastic in quarterfinals this year, good at the games, just another huge name. And it's starting to kind of feel like it's becoming a lot of proven athletes coming down to Australia for a little bit. Again, not entirely shocking because Tia is from there, but all these extra athletes she's bringing with her are not, and they're willing to travel down for this competition. And I wonder if Tia has some kind of impact on that. If she was like, hey, I'm coming to do this competition, it's gonna be a big deal. come do it with me. And then another announcement of another proven athlete. We have Will Morad going down there to compete again. And then the most recent is Baden Brown. Again, that one goes along with all the Australian athletes, but basically almost every good Australian athlete is going to be competing at this competition. And this competition has taken a couple years off. Like I said, I believe because of COVID. I looked back at some of their old media and I don't see any live streams, which concerns me a little bit. I did reach out. I sent them an email asking if they're going to have a live stream. Just needed to follow up because the Down Under CrossFit Championship got back to me super quickly. I sent them an email. They emailed me back about an hour later, so very impressed by that. But what they said was that they will be having a live stream for the event. Our communication strategy and plan is to make the event as accessible as possible with a focus on getting people to the event, but also feel a part of it from a distance. So if you can't get to Australia like me, it looks like we'll be able to watch what's turning out to be a pretty cool event. So this competition, the Down Under CrossFit Championship, is now giving some of the other very well-known events a run for their money when it comes to which is the most exciting off-season event. So Rogue is usually a really exciting one. And the thing that makes things complicated here is Rogue and the Down Under CrossFit Championship are very close in time. They're only about 3 weeks apart. So I'm going to imagine we're not going to see very much overlapping in the athletes we see going to Rogue and the athletes we see going to the Down Under Championship. We haven't yet, and that could change, but the trip to Australia, if you don't already live in Australia, or the trip from Australia to the United States, it's a really big one. And I can't imagine you want to do Rogue here in the United States, travel all the way to Australia and then compete so soon and get your body ready to compete so soon. So I'm feeling like we're not going to see very much overlap. So I'm feeling like this Down Under CrossFit Championship, which is going to be amazing and hopefully has a live stream, is going to be taking away some of the athletes from Rogue. I just think it's inevitable. Now, I'm sure there's some athletes that probably didn't want to go all the way to Australia anyway and would have done Rogue regardless of this competition. But Tia has done Rogue before, and my guess is Tia likely won't do Rogue this year. Tia's incredible. Tia can recover like no one else. If Tia wants to do both these competitions, I'm sure she would be capable of doing both of them. And she may be in the US at the time that Rogue is happening, so maybe it wouldn't be that difficult for her to do it and then travel to Australia. But again, it's a lot on the body. I saw Brooke Wells, I believe, posted that she got an invite to Rogue, but did not say anything about if she's doing it. Some of the athletes I did see that were doing it, I saw Pat Vellner, I believe, say that he's doing it. Justin Medeiros has been announced on the actual site. And another athlete, who I mentioned earlier in this video, Annie Thorsdottir, has announced that she is doing Rogue as an individual athlete, I believe, because I don't think they have any teams unless it's formatted differently than last year. Which I'm really excited about because I made my predictions earlier for 2023. Again, I'll link up here if you want to check that out. And I had picked Annie Thorsdottir to finish in second as an individual again this year after going teams, or this year's in 2023, after going team in 2022. So I am really excited to see her back on the team stage at the Rogue Invitational. And if Tia isn't there, I mean, maybe she can take the whole thing. And I don't think that she's going to do the Down Under CrossFit Championship if she's doing Rogue. I mentioned that one comment where someone suggests that Lauren Fisher brings Katrin and Annie to compete against the Tia, Brooke, and Ellie team. I just don't see Annie doing that. She could surprise us, but she's based in Iceland. She has a gym in Iceland. She has a baby now. I can't imagine that she wants to do Rogue and then 3 weeks later turn around and do a competition on the other side of the world. I could be wrong, but logistically, it seems like a very difficult ask. So I don't think that's what Lauren Fisher will be doing there, being on a team with Annie, maybe with someone else, but I just don't see that happening. I do think, though, the Down Under CrossFit Championship at this point may be the biggest competition of the year. Dubai is often a great one, too. Wodapalooza is always a fantastic comp, but the Down Under CrossFit Championship has gotten so many fantastic athletes. And part of that is because we do have so many fantastic athletes coming out of Australia. So they're already based there and it's an easier competition for them to do. But they're attracting a lot of great athletes from all over the world this year for this comeback year that they're doing. And I'm excited for it. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I appreciate all of you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And one more thing, not really related to these competitions, but something awesome I saw that I think everyone needs. We all need a little serotonin in our lives. Athlete Roman Krenikov, who's becoming, I believe, a crowd favorite, he's becoming one of my favorites, posted this video right here of him seeing his dogs for the first time. I guess they made it over from Russia, and it's just wholesome, awesome content, and I hope you all enjoy seeing it too.